All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this very special crossover episode of the Remix NYC and Clickhouse New York user group meetup. For Remix NYC, this is our 9th meetup. So if you are new to Remix, make sure you say hi. How many of you are here from the Remix meetup? Awesome. How many are here for the Clickhouse meetup? Awesome. Well, welcome to Cockroach Labs. Welcome to our penthouse. I hope you've enjoyed the view and the roof deck and all of that. To start out, these are the organizers of the Remix meetup. So hi, I'm Adrian. I'm a developer advocate here at Cockroach Labs. We have Quentin Geddes, who you'll see more of later, and then Stephen, who is manning the live stream. We always start out with our code of conduct. So this is the short version. You can find the longer version adapted from the Remix Conf code of conduct. But TLDR, don't be a jerk. And we ask you to go a little bit further and actively be nice to everyone. Let's make these meetups something that everybody wants to go to. If you have a problem with anybody violating these, please find an organizer. For the Remix people, we always like to mention that there is a Discord for Remix. And if you want to reach us, there is a NYC channel underneath the meetups. And I'm sure there's probably something similar for Clickhouse. We are live streaming this. So hello, people on the internet. This is our YouTube. You can find the past meetup recordings and the live streams. We have a call for speakers and we have a call for sponsors. So we're always looking for people who want to come and talk, give a talk. Doesn't have to be specifically about Remix. It can be Remix adjacent. So if it's something about React or some components or some kind of web technologies, we're really open. We just love to have people come and speak. And if you want to speak, not sure what to speak about, go ahead and fill it out and we will work with you. And then also, like if you have a company that likes buying, let's say, pizza or other food for meetups, also come find us. The next meetup for Remix, we aim for the third Wednesday of every month. So that will be August 16th, which is the death of summer vacation. So if you guys are going back to school or, I don't know, not coming back from a vacation, then I'm sorry. But we are looking for sponsors and speakers for that. So we want to take some time to thank our sponsors. So how about a round of applause for all of this wonderful pizza from Clickhouse? Yeah, thank you. You will be hearing more from them in just a bit. We have a couple speakers from Clickhouse here. And then for providing this wonderful space, we like to thank CockroachDB, Cockroach Labs. And I do have, I think, one slide. So here is my CockroachDB pitch. We like to say we're the most highly evolved database on the planet. Scale fast, survive everything, anything, survive, thrive everywhere. That thing that I say all the time. So we are Postgres compatible. We start for free. Unlike Clickhouse, we are an OLTP, online transactional processing database. So if you need globally distributed transactions, check us out. Here are a whole bunch of links. Any of these that you scan will give credit to the Remix meetup. So that only helps us get more sponsors. But we are giving a full version of the CockroachDB definitive guide. That's a free PDF download. So if you want to scan that. We have Cockroach University that teaches you about SQL and using CockroachDB, all for free. And then we have CockroachDB serverless, which is pretty cool for spinning up things. Serverless is now multi-region. So you can spin up a cluster with regions all over the world. You can lock region to different data. And the cool thing is, if you're not using it, it spins all the way down and it's consumption-based pricing. So, woo! All right, moving on. So now comes the time that we now comes the time where we do quick pitches. And so this is the time for people in the audience to stand up, give a pitch. Are you looking for work? Are you hiring? Are you working on a project? Do you need help? Anything, now is your time, and just raise your hand and we have a mic. And everybody at home gets to watch me while they hear everybody else.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anne Andrews. I am a startup founder. I started a couple of years back, 2020. It was a pandemic project which grew and became something else now. It's called TechFunic. Essentially, what I'm building is an ML model to create a peer group for people to work or learn together based on cognitive neurobiomarkers. So to maximize engagement, if you have ADHD, what kind of peer group would be ideal for you to optimize your learning experience, right? And then building it on Web 2 now, I'm doing like a blockchain for kids bootcamp, and then eventually moving to Web 3 because that's where the kids are going to be. With the tokenization model is the end product that I'm looking at. And I'm bootstrapped, I'm revenue positive, and I'm hiring. I'm building a management team now. I'm actively hiring for people who are willing to come on just on equity basis. So if you're financially stable, startup world, and this kind of ML, blockchain, Web3, that space excites you, and you want to build a model purely based on equity, I'm not paying anyone now, so I wanted to make it very clear. And then eventually fundraise later this fall. So if that's something of interest, come talk to me. Thanks, bye.
Awesome, thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashraf, and I have 2 years of experience as a full stack developer. I'm currently looking for opportunities, so if you guys are hiring, reach out to me. My tech stack is mostly React, Node, Next.js, and I'm actively interviewing as well. So just out there looking for opportunities.
Awesome. Good luck.
So just to clarify the tech stack, right? So I'm on Webflow. Webflow is a UI with React Native built on MySQL with GCP for the ML modeling. That's what I'm from. And yeah, so I'm here just to compare and contrast different technologies. Eventually, yeah, so that's the tech stack. And if that's your skill set, that's when you should talk to me. Thanks.
Awesome, thank you. Anybody else?
Going once, going twice.
Wait, was that? Oh, I thought you were going somewhere. All right. Well, thank you. That was quick pitches. So right into tonight's speakers. So we're going to start off with kind of merging the two meetups together. So we have Quentin, who is going to speak about getting started with Remix and Clickhouse. And so Quentin.
Cool. Yeah. Hey, how's everyone doing? Good, yeah. Alive? So, let me get everything in. Awesome. So I know I asked this, or Adrian asked this before, but who here has some familiarity with Remix? Okay. Who has never heard of Remix before in their life? Okay. And who has kind of heard about Remix, but kind of interested to learn more? Everybody else. Fantastic. So Remix is a full stack web framework that I really fell in love with probably a year, maybe 2 years ago now. And the reason that it's great is because it lets you put all of your logic in one file if you want to. So I love to pull up the remix.run main page because it gives a great demo of what Remix is all about. So on the right here, we see just your basic, React component. And on top, you can see that we have a loader and an action. And for those of you who don't know, loader and an action are, basically what they seem to be. A loader is something that can get data and feed it to your component on the server side. And an action is something that performs an action on the server side driven by your component. So we'll go into that in a little bit, but cool to see who has Remix knowledge. Now, what about Clickhouse? Who here has a ton of Clickhouse knowledge? Love it. Who here has never heard of Clickhouse? Awesome. So I've heard of Clickhouse, but really this meetup was the first time that I was able to really dive in and learn more. And it's been really fantastic to get to know what they are, what they do. So I'm not going to try and explain what Clickhouse does because the Clickhouse folks are going to do a much better job at that than I would. But what you need to know is that Clickhouse lets you query billions of rows in milliseconds. And as a front-end engineer that sometimes does some back-end stuff, this is really cool because my primary problem is that I am looking to save and access data. And I want to do it the easiest way that I can. So Clickhouse connects to a bunch of different data sources. And they make it really easy to access databases like Postgres, other things, logs, as well as like S3, local CSVs. And their website has a number of different tutorials how to do everything. But what I was really interested in was how quickly could I go from nothing to something in Remix. So what I did was I clicked Get Started. I went to their cloud offering, which is really cool, by the way. And on their cloud offering, all I had to do was click New Service, and I created a Remix test service. So this is completely free. On their trial, I had to pay $0 for this, which is really commendable. So when we click into this, you'll see that I have a service. We can see all the metrics here, really nicely formatted. And we can see that we have a couple different ways to actually connect to this. So number one, we can add data. And if we wanted to, we could just click into this, and it gives us a couple different ways to be able to go in and add data. One is through just like HTTP. One is through a file upload. And then they have sample data, which is what I chose. So they have some New York taxi data. And all I had to do was click Load Data, went right into my database. And then they give you some details on how you can actually connect to your SQL and to your Clickhouse data. So since I'm on the trial, they put your database to sleep, which is great, totally fine. So it's going to wake that up. And when it wakes it up, you're going to see that there's a bunch of just New York City sample taxi data, which is really permanent to this meetup. And while we're waiting for that to load, let's go into our actual Remix app. So if you notice, it's going to be very similar to what we showed on the remix.run website. And we have a loader here. We have a just simple React component, and that's it. So what we're doing here is in our loader, we're just querying our Clickhouse endpoint, and we're saying that we want to select all from our database. We're going to return it. And since we return it in a Remix loader, it's super easy for us to get that data and display it in the component. So Remix exposes this use loader data function. We get all of that data. And through parsing it, we can show it in a nice table. So let's go over to our Remix app to load. It's going to wake up from sleep. And we're going to refresh this as well. Like I said, it's waking up the service. But as it wakes up the service, as it wakes up the service, like it says, it can take a minute. There might be a lot of server traffic on the Clickhouse demo. It can load all of the data, and it's super easy. It just uses basic fetch. They expose an HTTP endpoint. with all of your data attached. And it's been like really a pleasure to use. So I'd love to hear from some of the Clickhouse speakers next. Can I wake it up? Yeah, you go to settings. Maybe you can try Awesome. Thank you. Can I do it from here? Cool. To be fair, I haven't had this problem until I plugged in. So. So now that it's running, we have a really nice Remix app here, and we're showing all of our data. And if we go back into our connection and we go into the connect, it'll connect. And we can see in this really nice GUI, by the way, we can see all of our different tables on the left, all of our data on the right. And in our Remix app, we can visualize it all in a simple table. And we have a simple form up here. Since we Remix users, we love just the simple fundamentals. We can just go in, we can search something. I'm going to put in 100 for trip distance greater than, and you'll see on the right-hand side, we now see trip distances that are over 100. And if we were to go back into the code here, we can see that all we're doing here is in a form. All we're doing is clicking submit in a form that has an input with trip distance. And in our example loader here, we're passing that in. So really simple, Clickhouse, joy to use. Really love it. Anybody have any Remix questions that I can answer while I'm up here? Not Clickhouse questions, but Remix questions. Fantastic. So super excited. We're going to hear from Clickhouse next.
All right. So I plug back in just so you can see these slides. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you both slides, and then we can go from one speaker to the next without me having to plug back in. So next up, we have Zach Naiman from Clickhouse. Oh, you switched it up. Okay, so. No, that's fine. We are, if anything, agile here. So right now we have Kritika, and then following we will have Zach. So I will pass this off. So here's that. Yeah. I need to get like a juggler or something for like these transitions. Somebody want to juggle chainsaws or eat fire. Do you want the handheld, or do you want to?
Yeah, this is good. Okay. Hey, this is good. Hi, I'm Kritika. I'm on the product team at Clickhouse. Very excited to be here for the third meetup we're doing in the city. Thank you to the presenter from Remix. It was really good to see. I'm sorry about the trouble with waking up your service. So for this talk, the agenda that I've laid out is just to give you a quick intro, because I spoke to a few of you in the room, and it felt like the roadmap felt like a stretch. You might benefit from learning what Clickhouse is. I tried to explain it to a few of you, so I figured let's go do this for the broader room. We'll have a show and tell. I'll hand it over to Zach, who'll come in and talk about, audible now? Yep. And then we'll get to questions, but come find us. We are about 6 of us in the audience, including engineers from the team that are here. So yeah, any questions, feedback on things that you see, that you want to see included, please come find us and talk to us. With that, really, what is Clickhouse? Just to go back, it is a popular open source columnar OLAP database. It was open source since 2016. Clickhouse Inc., which is where I work, was incorporated 2 years back. And its claim to fame has been its speed, feature richness. We continue to ship a release every month. And this has been from the very early days. So if you go to the YouTube page, you'll see all the releases. It's recorded. We obsess about adding more features incrementally to really meet the developers and the kind of use cases that they're using it for, right? And last but not the least, scale and reliability. It's been used in the open source context in several large enterprises, including eBay, Cloudflare, name it. All of this is on the website. So that is, at a very high level, what Clickhouse in the open source is. And the cloud product that I'm responsible for, we launched it in December of 2022. And we developed at the same rapid pace that we did with the open source. We shipped it within a year. We launched in AWS and expanded to GCP as of last year. And that's really the easiest way for you to get started. Oh, do you have a question? Okay. Sorry, did you have a question? So the goal was to bring all of these powerful capabilities and offload the operational overhead. Having to deploy a Clickhouse type of service or any database requires infrastructure planning. How do you patch? How do you upgrade? How do you scale? All of those complexities and the barrier to entry is what we wanted to eliminate. And that's essentially what we ended up doing. And with the cloud architecture, we went a step further, acknowledging in the constructs of how cloud services are built. One size doesn't fit all. We need to be able to scale. How do we further eliminate the operational overhead is adopting this more novel approach of separated compute and storage. Depending on your workload behavior and patterns, we're able to independently scale. So really eliminating all the overhead of getting started, scaling based on your workload, essentially starting for 1 and scaling to 1 million is the goal. So the best way to get this experience for yourself is to get started. We offer a 30-day trial with $300 in trial credits, available both on AWS and GCP direct, as well as through the marketplaces. And we have something for almost everyone, right? When we started designing the MVP for the cloud product, we had a wide range of users, right from the operator persona, the analyst, and to the developer. So there's something to give you a near complete experience, given that we are still in year 1 of executing and delivering on the cloud vision. You'll see a lot of good things that's already come through. So on one side, you have for the operator, the scaling controls, they can go in. I think the Remix speaker, Quinton, was trying to figure out like how to scale it up. All of this is available on the self-serve console. While we do the auto scaling for the power user, we also give the capability to go in and size the capacity that you'll need. We do daily backups. So as a data durability and DR mechanism, we do it out of the box at no extra cost. And we offer sophisticated metrics within the console itself. So at any time, if you want to see the service health, you're able to do that yourself. And on the other side, which is where we'll spend a little more time looking into what's under the hood, is once you set up a service, you're really not doing anything outside of running queries, running reports, running analysis. And that's where we really differentiate. From the very early days, we have this very powerful SQL console that's integrated within the cloud UI itself. So no additional clicks. You saw Quinton do that. Redirect to a SQL console. You can run your analysis in under milliseconds. And last but not the least, we figured today developers tend to interact with services from an API-first approach. And just as of last month, we shipped a complete robust API for the control plane and also shipped a Terraform provider in order to help you automate some of these operations. With that, I think I have a couple of slides, and yeah, I can go into more details if you have more questions. But as a database or any service, we realize that we don't exist in isolation. So we've made a concerted effort to ensure that the integrations is on par with how our developers are using Clickhouse, both in the open source and the cloud. You'll see a number of connectors, right, from Ingest, Kafka, S3, GCS, dbt. For visualization, we support a number of tools, including Grafana, Tableau, Metabase, Superset, which we use internally, powerful language drivers in line with how we've seen developers use Clickhouse, and several more. Yeah, and all of this backed by enterprise-grade security. Security is never an afterthought. With data being moved into the cloud, developers, larger enterprises alike, want to know how we're securing the data. We offer end-to-end encryption by default, but we do have very sophisticated endpoint controls with IP filtering, as well as private link support, as well as audit logging for all user activity within the UI. And last but not the least, we also recently introduced CMEC, or Bring Your Own Key, which puts you in control of the data at rest encryption controls. Just scoring like secure by design is how we design the cloud product. And yeah, this is a quick slide just because Quinton ran into the issue with the scaling. We have all of this for the operator who really knows how they want to size their infrastructure and scale up to accommodate the query or the workload that they plan to onboard. With that, I mean, yeah, I would be remiss if I don't have sort of a reference use case. We've got several by virtue of the fact that the product has been so popular in the open source. We've got adoption across a wide range of use cases, starting from real-time, customer-facing analytics, batch and ad hoc analytics at scale, being able to slice and dice data. As a speed layer for data warehousing, logging and metrics, being able to monitor on vast amount of logs and detect anomalies, do fraud detection, those type of use cases. And last but not the least, because of the powerful aggregation functions, a lot of users or ML and data scientists use Clickhouse as an aggregation layer to basically train models. Any questions? If not, we'll actually take a look at how the product looks. And Zach?
Sorry, hands full. All righty. Jeez. So my name is Zach. I'm a PM at Clickhouse. I work with Kritika. And then on the engineering side, I work with Guy and Danny as well, who are also here. Good to see so many new faces. We've done a couple of New York meetups already this year, but this is a completely new crew. So happy to share some of our progress. What I want to talk to you guys today about is loading data into Clickhouse, specifically Clickhouse Cloud. The dilemma, I guess, phrased differently, Clickhouse is super, super fast, especially at scale. It really makes sense as like a replacement for your kind of, as you're scaling up to, start offloading your kind of analytics data from your OLTP database into like an OLAP solution like Clickhouse once you achieve scale. Because in a kind of OLTP environment, once you kind of get up into the 3 commas in terms of rows, performance really starts to degrade. And that's really where Clickhouse shines. On the flip side, though, loading your data into Clickhouse presents a dilemma because it's typically vast amounts of data that you want to load in. So just a quick question. I know most people in this room are previously unfamiliar with Clickhouse, but if anybody in here has used it before, I'd like your help answering the following questions. How can we currently import a static data set into Clickhouse, specifically Clickhouse Cloud? And how can we begin ingesting a Kafka stream directly into Clickhouse? Sorry? Drag and drop? Not quite so simple. Foreshadowing, though. Yes, we do have an HTTP endpoint, but it takes a little bit more work than just that. Copy and paste, I mean, you could buffer 1 billion rows in memory on your computer if you've got enough memory on your computer, I guess. But that's a little difficult as well. All right. It was kind of an open-ended question because the answer is a little bit convoluted. Currently, as is, basically, there's kind of 3 components. The first one is you actually need to define a table schema. The second one is you need to actually, I guess you need to determine the schema of your data and then the kind of ideal schema of your target destination table. Then the third step is you actually need to kind of run an import job. Typically, that's either in batches or just one continuous import. It doesn't really matter. But anyhow, I've kind of laid out the 5 steps for like a static file, how you might go ahead and import this into Clickhouse right now. The first step, obviously, you need to kind of determine, using Clickhouse, you can even do it, what your columns are in your data set and what type of data they contain. Then you need to take the output from that describe query that you run and basically transpose it into a create table statement. So basically taking those column definitions and kind of reformatting them such that they fit into a create table statement. After that, you need to actually execute the create table statement. And then you need to actually begin inserting data. And there's a sub-step in here if you're importing to an existing table where you have to kind of map the fields in your source data to your destination table. So once you've done all that, then you need to sit back and pray. This is because obviously when you're dealing with large amounts of data at scale, if your machine loses network connection even momentarily, that can break the connection and your import will stop midway. There's all kinds of scenarios where users experience a lot of pain when they're trying to get their static data sets into Clickhouse. So the second workflow is for Kafka stream ingestion. This is another place where Clickhouse actually shines. It's able to very easily catch large volumes of data off of from a Kafka topic, allowing you to kind of store it and then run analytics on it later. But setting that all up is a challenge in itself as well. First of all, you need to kind of go and inspect your Kafka topic. Then you need to kind of create a destination table. Then you need to actually go and find a way to spin up a Kafka HTTP sync connector, which is all kinds of complicated. Then after that, you need to actually point the sync connector towards the destination table, enter all your credentials, and then pray again. So this all to say, basically, at the moment, despite how many different integrations and connectors that Clickhouse has, it's really not super simple to actually get your data in. And this is a problem that we've kind of talked about at length on the product team at Clickhouse for quite some time. So I'm really happy to be able to share with you that we've just this week begun rolling out an all new data loading experience in Clickhouse Cloud. So hopefully I'm more lucky with this live demo than the previous one. Cool. So I've got an empty service here, nothing special. And I want to go ahead and load in data from like a big CSV file I've got on my computer. I'm going to go to this new import section and I can click file upload. And here's a nice small one. In the background, what we're doing is we're actually touching the first few bytes of your file. And we are using that to kind of run schema inference while your file is still uploading. So you can already get started actually kind of tweaking, if necessary, all of your fields. If you want to remove a field, that's not a problem either. If you want to kind of tweak some advanced settings, you can do that as well. For example, if you actually need a different table engine, merge tree is typically advisable, but if you kind of know what you're doing, maybe you want to do something different. Once you've kind of decided how you want your table to look, you can go ahead and put a name in here. We'll kind of pre-populate whatever the file name is in this case, and then choose a sort key. And this has chosen the correct sort key already for us. So as you can see here, here's a little preview of what the data will actually look like. And you can see we've got our column headers listed here. This is because there are actually a couple different settings around CSV files and how Clickhouse parses them. So we can use this selector to change it to CSV with names. And as you can see, the column headers are now being detected correctly here as well. So just as an aside, if you do want to kind of see what is going on under the hood, you can take a look at the SQL preview here. And then we can go ahead and just click import to Clickhouse. Now, what I want to emphasize is that we have, in the background now, just uploaded your file to like a temporary S3 bucket. So as soon as that file is uploaded to S3, at that moment, you no longer have to worry about losing connection. You no longer have to worry about latency of any sort. We've got your file temporarily, and we'll kind of handle the import server side. So as you can see, it's already successful now. We didn't need to do anything else. We could have, if it was a really large file, we could all go step away and have a few drinks and come back. And then we can kind of go in here and see this data has been loaded in. Now, this is a super small data set, but you get the point. We can also do something similar with S3 files. So say you actually have S3 as a landing zone for all of your analytical data already, and you want to just import a large static data set or a set of files. We can do this pretty easily as well. So here's a UK property transaction data set that's already in S3. You guys are welcome to download it yourselves. You can find it in our documentation. And as you can see, we have now run the same schema inference on this file, determined what we think that this kind of columns schematic should look like, and we're basically all set to go. In this case, I don't think we want price as the sorting key. We probably want date. So we'll go ahead and change that there. And we can go ahead and click import here as well. As an aside, we also actually have this data set and other sample data sets like the one demoed earlier that you can find very easily already kind of preloaded here. And you can just kind of one-click import them into your service as well. But anyhow, back to the task at hand. As you can see, this one has also now been successful. This is a little bit larger. Still not really Clickhouse scale, but you get the point. So I think that kind of answers the first question and really serves to address this massive pain point that has heretofore existed in terms of loading static data sets into Clickhouse. But what about streams, data that's kind of constantly being created and passed through, and you want to kind of set up Clickhouse such that it is ingesting this data from your Kafka stream, for example? Well, excitingly, just this last week, we've also rolled out a brand new product called ClickPipes. And sorry, I'm not in slideshow mode, so I might have given that away. Anyhow, ClickPipes is going to be a way to kind of facilitate long-term kind of ingestion of data such as Kafka streams, S3, and kind of other sources of kind of periodically refreshed and updating data directly into your Clickhouse service seamlessly. So let's give that one a go as well. You can see here we've got a nice big button for it. We've got a Confluent cluster already set up, so we'll just go ahead and use that. And I've got here an API key. We'll call this one Ethereum since it's just a Ethereum blockchain stream. And we'll put in our secret key. You guys can use it. It's all good. And here is our host. And we'll go ahead and define a consumer group here. So let's just say and we'll go ahead and go to the next step. So now we can kind of choose from any of the topics that ClickPipes has detected in your Confluent or your other kind of self-managed Kafka cluster. In this case, maybe we'll go with trace messages because this is a pretty big stream. It's detected that it's in JSON already. And this is kind of a preview of what the actual data looks like. As you can see, it's actually kind of nested, and we've got kind of a string data type here that's basically JSON, and a map as well here. If we had more time, we could do like a kind of longer one and show how you could push this through materialized views and do some transformations. But that's kind of beside the point for right now. We'll go ahead and click parse information. And this kind of drops us into basically the same step that we've just seen with the original data loading. We're running schema inference and determining basically how we want to set up a destination table for your Kafka stream. So in this case, since we've actually got a JSON string here, we don't really want to sort by that. So we're just going to use the basically no sort key hack in Clickhouse, just order by tuple. And we'll go ahead and complete. And so this will initially provision, because behind the scenes, what we're actually doing is spinning up just for you your own brand new Kafka HTTP sync connector that's authenticating using machine-to-machine authentication, backed up by HashiCorp Vault in the back. And basically, it just seamlessly plugs into your ClickHouse service. And as soon as this finishes provisioning, it will just start piping data straight into this table that we've now created. So we just got to wait for this to finish provisioning. It's pretty big. I think it's got 120,000 records that we are kind of lagged behind currently because it's a new consumer group. So, but if you had an existing consumer group you just wanted to use, you can plug it straight into that as well in case you need to set up a new stream or you've already migrated some data over. Yeah. The loading time for provisioning this this ClickPipe? No, it's we're just behind the scenes. We're actually spinning up like an entirely new kind of virtual service that's running this HTTP sync connector, which basically connects to Kafka and then batches your data and then packages it into an insert and sends it over to the actual database itself. And we'll just go ahead and refresh just to make sure. And we can see that it's now actually running. So if we take a look here in the destination table, that's a little preview. And we can now see this new table, because I didn't name it, now already has more than 120,000 rows. Actually, 663,000 now. And this will kind of periodically grow. As you can see, it's already growing. Now we're at 717,000. And as new Ethereum data gets pulled off the chain, it's just streaming straight into our ClickHouse service. And this took all of 4 minutes. So yeah, that's basically it. Hopefully this has been super helpful. So just to kind of sum up, what we've done is condensed those two bifurcated data loading kind of workflows, one for static data and one for streaming data, and kind of condensed it into one seamless user experience that only has 3 steps, of which one is optional. You just select your data source, enter credentials if necessary. If you need to adjust something, you can do it, and then you can just relax. So thank you so much.
I might have the first one. How much does it cost? Yeah, so questions? Anybody have any?
He asked, how much does it cost? Oh no, this is just the. So you pay for your Clickhouse service itself. We spin that up. It's replicated 3 times by default. You can scale it up or down. That you pay for. Click pipes, all of those, you don't pay for. We will give that to you for free. You're welcome. Any more questions?
I have a question. Hi. So for compliance, like what kind of compliance options do you offer? Like HIPAA, GDPR?
Yeah, so Kritika can speak to this in more detail, but I think we've already completed SOC 2 Type 2. We're working on ISO 27000, HIPAA, all of the good ones. I think FedRAMP or FedNow or FedRAMP, I think is what it's called, is also on the roadmap. But yeah, any sort of compliance or enterprise-focused questions, Kritika is your go-to.
Just a follow-up. Is the compliance for all the clouds you support? Sorry, I already got it. Hello.
So the question was for
The compliance, is it the same for all the clouds or just like, because from my understanding, the ClickHouse cloud can be spin up in different clouds like GCP, AWS, and all that stuff.
right.
So is it the same type of compliance for every cloud or just one?
That's our goal. Right now, AWS is fully SOC 2 Type 2 compliant. We plan to include the support for GCP as well in this quarter. And that will also coincide with the timeline for ISO 27001, which will be for both AWS and GCP services. And we have a trust center where you can actually request a report. We have an InfoSec team behind the scenes that goes through every single report and publishes through a secure vault.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks so much, guys.
All right. Hold on. Am I on camera? Okay. I moved the camera because I realized people are out of frame. So instead of moving the camera again, I'm just going to move the podium because we have wheels. And we did that one. And that is all that we have for our program tonight. I want to thank you all for coming. Please feel free to stay, mingle, devour what's left of the pizza, enjoy the roof deck until about 8:30. That's when the cleaning crew comes and we want to get out of their way. But thank you all for coming. And you know, if you like, please come back to the next Remix meetup. And we're always happy to host you all again if you wanna come into town. So thanks.